Summary of the Kingdom, the Power, and the Glory, American Evangelicals in an Age of Extremism, written by Tim Alberta. Chapter 1. In the cold afternoon of February 2021, the Brighton Bar and Grill provided an unassuming backdrop for a conversation that would unveil the turbulent saga within Cornerstone Evangelical Presbyterian Church. Pastor Winans, my father's chosen successor, appeared uneasy, glancing around as if anticipating an impending storm. Little did I know, the tempest brewing within the church community was about to erupt. Cornerstone, a testament to my father's life's work, had been grappling with the elusive quest for a suitable successor. Chris Winans, a young pastor from Goodwill EPC, emerged as a promising candidate. A brilliant scriptural scholar with a humble demeanor, Winans seemed the perfect fit, despite his departure from the conservative Republican values entrenched in the predominantly white, conservative community. Brighton, Michigan, nestled within the conservative stronghold of Livingston County, mirrored the traditional values of its residents. Cornerstone, reflective of its surroundings, lacked diversity culturally, ethnically, and politically until Winans arrived. Despite his differences, my father believed Winans held the key to expanding the church's outreach beyond its conventional demographic. The initial optimism surrounding Winans' arrival evaporated soon after he assumed the role of senior pastor in 2018. His every remark, especially those touching on politics or culture, invited a barrage of criticism from the congregation. The church, unaccustomed to a leader who didn't conform to their political ideology, found Winans' advocacy for environmental stewardship particularly contentious, deeming it a liberal agenda. The turbulence reached its peak when my father passed away, leaving Winans alone to navigate the challenges ahead. The emergence of the COVID-19 pandemic added another layer of complexity. Michigan's Democratic governor, Gretchen Whitmer, issued sweeping shutdown orders, forcing churches to choose between compliance and defiance. Winans, guided by scriptural principles to respect governing authorities, opted to abide by the orders, much to the chagrin of congregants who deemed the pandemic a hoax or believed religious institutions should remain open, regardless. As Cornerstone reopened, divisions deepened. Congregants left over disagreements on health guidelines, revealing a broader fracture within the church. The murder of George Floyd in May 2020 intensified societal tensions, with discussions on racial justice and political polarization infiltrating the church community. Trump's re-election campaign further fueled the chaos. The president propagated conspiracy theories and positioned the election as a battle between Christianity and the secular left. Cornerstone became a battleground, with congregants pressuring Winans to take a stance against government mandates and progressive movements. Refusing to align with the divisive rhetoric, Winans saw more departures, especially after Trump's electoral defeat. The situation worsened when a church leader was fired for promoting QAnon, a far-right conspiracy theory. The departure of key members eroded the foundation of Cornerstone, culminating in the Capitol riot on January 6, 2021. Christian imagery at the riot linked the events to religious overtones, leaving Winans feeling helpless and despairing. In the aftermath, Winans contemplated delivering a scathing sermon, exposing the lies and divisive politics corrupting Cornerstone. However, fearing it would exacerbate the situation, he refrained from doing so. The author, grappling with the church's unraveling, questions the role his father played in allowing such extremism to fester. The narrative turns introspective as the author unloads the confrontations at his father's viewing and the subsequent letter received for criticizing Rush Limbaugh at the funeral. The revelation prompts Winans and the author to reflect on the broader question: what's wrong with American evangelicals? Winans offers a poignant response: too many of them worship America. In this intricate tale of a church's unraveling, political polarization, and ideological strife, the reader witnesses the challenges faced by religious leaders in navigating a deeply divided congregation. The narrative serves as a mirror reflecting the broader fractures within American evangelicalism and the consequences of intertwining faith with polarized politics. As Winans contemplates leaving Cornerstone, the psychological toll of the situation becomes apparent. He shares his struggles with anxiety, seeking refuge in a dark room between services to collect himself. After consulting with his father, a physician, Winans asks trusted elders to stay close during services, fearing he might faint under the weight of the tumultuous situation. The author, grappling with the unfolding crisis, begins to question his father's role in the church's descent into extremism. He recalls past warnings, the crude Facebook posts, and the relentless trolling on social media. These red flags, once dismissed as amusing eccentricities, now appear as prescient warnings that should have been taken seriously. As Winans and the author reflect on the broader question of what's wrong with American evangelicals, the conversation becomes a poignant exploration of the intertwining of faith and nationalism. Winans offers a sobering diagnosis: too many American evangelicals worship America itself. The convergence of religious fervor with political ideologies has led to a distortion of priorities, with allegiance to the nation often overshadowing the core tenets of Christianity. The narrative, now delving into the events leading to the Capitol riot on January 6, 2021, paints a vivid picture of the church's descent into chaos. The author describes Winans' despair as he watches the riot unfold on television, Christian imagery juxtaposed with acts of violence and insurrection. The pastor, once hopeful of steering the church through turbulent times, now feels the weight of a congregation spiraling out of control. The prospect of delivering a scathing sermon, exposing the forces corrupting Cornerstone, hangs in the air. However, Winans, aware of the fragile state of the church, refrains from unleashing his critique. The delicate balance between confronting extremism and avoiding further discord becomes a recurring theme, highlighting the challenges faced by religious leaders in navigating a polarized congregation. As the narrative unfolds, the author's sense of disillusionment deepens. The church, once a place of spiritual refuge, has become a battleground of ideologies. The departure of key members, some of whom served in leadership roles, underscores the gravity of the situation. The rifts within the congregation, exacerbated by the events of 2020, threaten the very fabric of Cornerstone. In a moment of vulnerability, Winans confides in the author about his contemplation of leaving Cornerstone. The psychological toll, manifested in anxiety disorders and the need for retreat, paints a stark picture of the toll exacted by the church's descent into extremism. The author, torn between loyalty to his father's legacy and the reality of a fractured congregation, grapples with the realization that something had gone awry long before the pandemic or the 2020 events. The narrative becomes a poignant exploration of accountability and culpability. The author questions whether his father, oblivious to the social media dynamics, truly understood the extent of the congregation's descent into extremism. The warnings, once dismissed, now loom large as indicators of a deeper malaise within Cornerstone. As the conversation unfolds, the narrative transcends the personal struggles of Winans and the author, evolving into a broader commentary on the state of American evangelicalism. The convergence of religious fervor with political ideologies, exacerbated by the events of 2020, has left a once unified congregation fragmented and disillusioned. In conclusion, this extensive narrative offers a deeply introspective journey into the unraveling of Cornerstone Evangelical Presbyterian Church. Through the lens of Pastor Winans and the author, the reader witnesses the challenges faced by religious leaders in navigating a deeply divided congregation. Chapter 2. The passage follows the journey of John Torres, a pastor at Goodwill Evangelical Presbyterian Church, navigating the complex landscape of a congregation divided by political and social issues. Torres's personal history is marked by an unexpected conversion to Christianity and a subsequent call to the ministry. As he grows into his role as a pastor, the narrative delves into the challenges he faces, especially during the presidencies of Barack Obama and Donald Trump, and the impact of these political events on the church community. Torres's story begins with his unconventional journey to Christianity. Raised in a non-religious home, he found his passion for music at the University of Connecticut. However, a period of disinterest and dropping out of school led to an unexpected conversion to Christianity, reigniting his passion for music. This turn of events led him to join a Christian band and eventually respond to an ad for a keyboard player, local church, marking the beginning of his association with Goodwill Evangelical Presbyterian Church. Under the guidance of Pastor Stu, Torres, with a waggish grin and a crew cut, took on various roles within the church, eventually becoming a music director. The passage sheds light on Torres's personal connection with the author's family, highlighting moments such as Torres holding the author as a baby and the mentorship provided by Pastor Stu and the author's father. The narrative then explores the dynamics within Goodwill, with a particular focus on the influence of politics on the church community. The trouble at Goodwill begins when Barack Obama is elected president in 2008. Torres senses uneasiness within his conservative, predominantly white congregation, reflecting a broader trend of political polarization in the country. While Torres himself had shifted rightward in recent years, his perspective contrasts with the reaction of many church members, who express hostility towards Obama. Despite his reservations about Obama, Torres recognizes the historic significance of his presidency for the black community. This recognition prompts him to share a letter from Rufus Smith, a respected black pastor, explaining the meaning of Obama's victory to black Christians. The decision to read the letter leads to backlash within the congregation, with members rebuking Torres, and some leaving the church altogether. The narrative then transitions to the Trump era, where Torres anticipates further challenges. He maintains a commitment to focusing on the gospel, despite the divisive political climate. However, as political tensions escalate during Trump's candidacy and presidency, Torres faces internal conflicts within the church. The congregation becomes a battleground for differing political views, with some members embracing conspiracy theories and extreme positions. The passage details Torres's attempts to navigate the challenges posed by the COVID-19 pandemic, both in terms of the virus itself and the impact on the church community. Tensions mount as Torres decides to address issues of racial injustice following George Floyd's murder. The attempt to engage with matters of racial justice leads to private pushback from certain church members, setting off a chain of events that further divides the congregation. A group of disgruntled congregants accuses Torres of being a Marxist teaching critical race theory, sparking a full-fledged conflict within the church. The narrative paints a picture of a minority faction orchestrating confrontations, organizing a trip to the January 6 protest in Washington, D.C., and even creating flyers detailing alleged transgressions. Torres, feeling defeated, contemplates quitting, fearing the impact on the centuries-old institution that is Goodwill. Amidst the internal conflict, the elder board intervenes, offering Torres a sabbatical. During this break, Torres grapples with feelings of failure and questions his ability to lead the church. The passage explores the toll that the internal strife takes on Torres's mental and emotional well-being. However, upon returning from his sabbatical, Torres is surprised by the support he receives from the congregation. The narrative emphasizes the smaller but healthier community that emerges from the conflict, with members apologizing for not standing up against the disruptive minority. As Torres resumes his pastoral duties, the passage ends on a note of uncertainty. Despite the congregation being smaller and more supportive, Torres still grapples with anxiety about the future. The narrative acknowledges the need to redirect the focus of the congregation back to Jesus and underscores the ongoing challenge of maintaining unity amid political and social divisions.